Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And we will share the screen. First topic. Well, we have something unusual today. This is Hindu religion, common faith and practices. And it's from the Malaysia Hindu Sangam. They've just created this presentation on common faith and practices of Hindus in Malaysia. I thought it would be interesting to look at it. The common faith, elsewhere they use the word beliefs for faith. So they're using common faith here, which consists of a number of common beliefs. We're going to go through it twice. The first time I'll just present it, and then the second time won't present it. I'll just comment on a few of the slides. Introduction. Hinduism is the oldest religion in the world. It is the third largest religion practiced by over 1.2 billion Hindus worldwide. Hinduism is also known as Dharma, Sanatana Dharma, and Vaidika Dharma. Dharma is defined as duty, righteousness, and law. Sanatana Dharma, eternal religion. Vaidika Dharma, religion rooted in the Vedas. The Hindu religion embraces all aspects of life. Hinduism is a complete way of life. It includes all aspects of life, such as philosophy, religion, moral, and all aspects of culture, including art, sciences, and literature. By the way, I'm envious of whoever created this. Their keynote skills far exceed mine. Nicely, very attractive. Common beliefs. There are several common faiths and practices among the different Hindu philosophies and belief systems. They are Vedas. Vedas are the primary holy texts of the Hindu religion. Agamas. Agamas are equally important and revered sacred texts. Other holy texts. Upanishads. Bhagavad Gita. Ramayana. Mahabharata. And what's last over there? Puranas. Very good. Those are the other holy texts. Then we get a little bit more on the Vedas. The Vedas are the divine truths revealed to the sages or rishis. The rishis preserved the Vedas in their memory and passed it down to their disciples through oral tradition. There we got a rishi passing it down. Agamas are the holy texts used in the temple and ritualistic worship. And we get the next slide. God, or the supreme reality, is one. The one and only God is all-pervading, all-powerful, all-graceful, eternal, and ever-blissful supreme reality. God manifests in various divine forms, such as Ganesha, Murugan, Shakti, Sivan, Vishnu, and Surya Narayana. God in his glory, as being innumerable, approaches to him also may be many. Everyone is free to approach God in any name and form and attain God realization. Then we get five forms. Vinayaka, Ganesha, Ganapati, Ekadanta, Murugan, Subramanian, Kartikeyan, Shakti Durga, Amba, Kali Devi, Shivan, Mahadevan, Parameshwara, Mahavishnu, Perumal, Rama, and Krishna. Those are the 5 dominant deities. We got a little, one more in the corner there. One truth, many names and forms. You can see they used a lot of our artwork. All souls are ruled by the law of karma and rebirth. Karma and rebirth. Punarjanma are the central ideas in the Hindu view of life. All karma by our actions, words, and thoughts produce their fruits. We reap the fruits of our karma either in this or the next birth. Bad karma produces pain and suffering. When we do injury or harm to other people, we will also suffer the same fate. Good karma brings us happiness and a guru to guide us in our spiritual journey towards moksha. Purpose of human birth is to attain moksha, freedom from rebirth. Moksha is also known as mukti. Karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, and jnana yoga are the 4 paths to attain moksha. All the various paths can be practiced alone or in combination. Karma yoga. This path suits a person who likes to serve the community without expectation. Unselfish work will purify the mind. Highest devotion is possible when the mind is pure. Nicely said. Bhakti yoga. This path is suitable for a person who wants to love God in a particular name and form, to engage in prayers, worship, singing, or hymns, and various unselfish service to God. Raja yoga. This path suits a person who wants to study his or her own mind to find the truth. Mental and physical disciplines are required to do meditation. Jnana yoga. This path is suitable for a rational person with the intellectual ability to study, analyze, and meditate on scriptures and philosophical works. Diksha or mantra upadesha from a competent guru is necessary. Who is a guru? Guru is one who is a jivan mukta, realized soul, pure, knows the essence of the Shastras, holy texts, and one who teaches with no selfish motive. So that ends the common beliefs, the faith section. Now we're starting to get into the practices. 4 Dharma ashramas. The life of an individual is divided into 4 stages or ashramas known as brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyasa. Brahmacharya, student stage, purity and celibacy is practiced until the completion of formal education and training. Grihastha, married life, pursuing punya karma, merit, wealth, pleasure, and children in a rightful manner. Vanaprastha, retirement stage, life of retirement and being advisors to the next generation, beginning of detachment from worldly life. Sannyasa, life of hermit, monk, pursuing moksha, greed and desire must be totally given up. Purushartham, there are 4 aims of life which everyone seeks in different stages of their life. Our lives will be meaningful if we achieve these aims in a rightful way. Dharma, righteousness, practice of righteousness and religious duties. Dharma has to be observed in seeking kama and artha. Sounds like something I say all the time. Artha, seeking wealth through honest means to satisfy a need to clothing, food, accommodation, and physical well-being, primarily pursued in grihastha stage. Kama, emotional and physical pleasure. Kama is pursued in grihastha stage to satisfy natural desire for sense pleasure. Those in the brahmacharya, vanaprastha, and sannyasa stages must avoid kama. Moksha, ultimate freedom, liberation from the cycles of birth and death. Those who achieve moksha will not have rebirth. Pancha Mahayagnas, daily sacrifices to be performed by those in grahastha ashrama, householder. Hey, what do we got first? Deva Yajna, prayers, rituals, and worship. Rishi Yajna, daily studies, reflections, and meditation on the holy books and the Atman. Pitru Yajna, Tarpana and Shraddham for deceased ancestors. Manushya Yajna, unselfish service towards parents and the needy. Bhuta Yajna, feeding animals, watering plants, protecting the environment, etc. Samskaras. So the common samskaras for all Hindus are 16. Of these, the most popular samskaras among Malaysian Hindus are Simantam, I won't read them all. Namakaranam, stuck. Anaprasanam, Chaulam, Karnavedam, Vidyarambam, Upanayanam, Ritusuddhi, Vivaham, Ancheshti. And a little comment on Hindu marriage is a religious ritual consisting of fasting, prayer, worship, and festivities. Husband and wife are mutual partners in their religious life and have a duty to help each other in their spiritual growth. Chastity, purity, faithfulness, and mutual trust are the foundation of a Hindu marriage. Nice little sidebar there. Devotional practices can be performed at home, at the temples, or at holy sites. It's a good statement. Japa and dhyana. Photos look familiar. Service to sadhu, paintings rather, service to sadhu and guru. Worship and prayers. Pilgrimage. Religious discourse. Singing bhajans and kirtana. Tapasya, penance, and varata, vow. And service to temple. Nicely done. Common symbols and objects of reverence and worship. This would be something for children to memorize. Mata Pita Guru Devam. Om. Swastika. Deepa. Lotus. Anjali Mudra. Kumbha. Sacred cow. Holy river Ganga. Prayers to sun. Samanya dharmas. Basic moral values to refine oneself and to create social harmony. For social harmony, yama. Niyama for self-development. Aparigraha, do not be greedy. Brahmacharya, self-control and self-discipline. Asteya, do not steal. Satya, speak the truth. Ahimsa, do not injure others. Shaucha, purity of mind, speech, and body, and cleanliness of surroundings. Santosha, happiness, contentment. Tapas, tavam, austerity. Swadaya, study of Atman or self-reflection. And Ishvara pranidhana, contemplation on God. Okay, here. There we go. The Hindus accept that truth can be approached through various paths, yet everyone must follow their own dharma sincerely. The Hindu lives in harmony with others as the whole world is viewed as one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Sarve jana sukhino bhavantu. They all live happily. Then we get the back page here, Malaysia Hindu Sangam, etc. Oh, very nicely done, isn't it? Nice graphics. Oh, we'll look at it one more time with, won't read it, just with some commentary. So I have to walk through the whole slide here and comment on it. So this one, in terms of Hinduism, when we defined Hinduism in our last presentation, we used two of their three. We used Sanatana Dharma as the mystical definition and Vaidika Dharma as the scriptural definition. And the third one, they used Dharma. The third one we used was the denominations, the matam. Four main denominations: Saivism, Vaishnavism, Smartism, and Saktism. So 2 out of 3 are the same. Then in terms of religion, embraces all aspects of life. Hinduism is a complete way of life. That's a very good point. But it's not to be confused with, isn't Hinduism just a way of life? When someone says, isn't Hinduism just a way of life, it refers to what we do during our waking hours that's secular, how we dress, how we eat, how we interrelate with people. It's leaving out shrine room, meditation, going to the temple, pilgrimage. No, we don't want to say Hinduism is just a way of life. This is a better statement. Hinduism is a complete way of life. It includes daily life plus worshiping in the shrine, at the temple, meditation, pilgrimage, etc. Second one here. Scriptures, right? Vedas, Agamas, other holy texts. And the Puranas. 1, 2. Okay, that's the slide. Well, what's important about this slide is the position in Scripture given to the Agamas. This is not always done. This would tend to happen in communities where temple worship is being done according to Agamic texts. So the 3 main groups of Agamic texts are Saiva, Pancharatra, and Vaikanasa. Pancharatra and Vaikanasa, of course, are Vaishnavite. So in Malaysia, for example, Sri Kandaswamy Kovel in Kuala Lumpur states on its website, the Saiva Agama Kumara Tandiram is strictly followed for the rituals performed in the temple and for erection of the temple as well. So they're the only temple I know that it puts all the descriptions of what a temple is according to what we suggested on their website. So they list the scripture, what scriptures govern our worship. Kumara Tandiram, which is the Saiva Agama about the worship of Lord Murugan. So that's good. They're putting the Vedas and Agamas as the authoritative texts, and then everything else is secondary to that, including the Bhagavad Gita. Happens a lot in North America. The Gita gets put forward as the primary Hindu text. So it's not. It's a secondary text. It's Smriti. Important text, very easy text to understand. That's why it's popular, but it's not considered Shruti. Okay, we get all of this. And we get the 5 that they've chosen. Very good. So this is a interesting one. The second point is the one. Is the commentary. God manifests in various divine forms such as Ganesha, Murugan, Shakti, Shiva, and Vishnu, and Surya Narayana. So they didn't have enough room on the right for Surya Narayana. So they left them off. Those are the 6. The 6 denominations. Shan Matam. The 6 denominations that Adi Shankara put forward. He's called the founder of the 6 denominations. But the statement, God manifests in various divine forms, is a Vedanta concept and differs from our approach, which is Siddhanta. Our pamphlet, Visiting a Hindu Temple, has both viewpoints in it. So I'm going to read that. One God, many gods. In the Hindu pantheon, there is said to be 330 million gods. Even so, all Hindus believe in one supreme being who pervades the entire universe. The many gods are perceived as divine creations of that one being. These gods or Mahadevas are real beings capable of thought and feeling beyond the limited thought and feeling of embodied man. So Hinduism has one God, but it has many gods. There are only a few of these gods for whom temples are built and pujas conducted. Ganesha, Shiva, Subramanya, Vishnu, and Shakti, which are the 5 on the screen there, are the most prominent deities in contemporary Hinduism. Of course, there are many others for whom certain rites or mantras are done in daily ceremony, often in the home shrine. These include Brahma, Surya, Saraswati, Lakshmi, Agni, Chandra, Ayyappan, Hanuman, Mariyappan, and others. So what's the difference? I was reading the Siddhanta perspective there. In the Vedanta perspective, it's a manifestation. God manifests in various forms. So God is always just one being, but he manifests in various forms. So there's really only one being. There's not multiple beings. There's one being manifesting in various forms. Siddhanta, the supreme being, created the lesser gods, the Mahadevas. So they exist as separate beings. So we have many beings in Siddhanta. We don't have a one being manifesting in various divine forms. We have a one being who created other beings, just as we don't believe that all the billions of people on the earth are one person. We believe that they're separate. So likewise, we believe in the inner worlds, they're separate Mahadevas. So subtle difference, but it's a logical choice if you're trying to unite all Hindus to default to Vedanta. Okay, then we have karma. So their definition of karma is really good. I would just add one thought, which is karma is the teacher. I think that's an important point. They don't say that. They just say, if you do good, people will treat you well. If you harm people, people will harm you. But karma is teaching us what it feels like to be treated the way we treated others. So if we harm people, karma will make sure that people harm us, so we understand what it feels like to be harmed, and eventually we're going to realize that we don't want people to go through that. So we improve our behavior by feedback. Likewise, we help others. In the future, others help us. It feels really good. We realize we should do more of it. Again, improving our behavior through bringing back to us how we treated others. Okay, here we get a lot on this slide. So, of course, in creating a structure of common practices, you're not going to choose Charya, Kriya, Yoga, and Jnana. It's too specifically Saivite, but even Gurudeva uses a lot Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raja Yoga, and Jnana Yoga terms. So those are the most common terms used to describe the different categories of practice. So that works well with Gurudeva's teachings. In terms of how Gurudeva encourages us to approach it when we define it this way, he says, well, first master your Karma Yoga, which is Charya. Then, when you're doing well at that, move on to Bhakti Yoga, which is Kriya. When you're doing really well at that, puja in the home shrine, you're an expert, feel a lot of devotion. Then you move on to Raja Yoga as the third practice, which is Yoga Pada. And then Jnana Yoga, the way it's described here of scriptural study, is not in Gurudeva's teachings. This is traditionally done by learning Sanskrit and studying the Upanishads in Sanskrit and other scriptures by Adi Shankara, Vivekachudamani, etc., using them as text for meditation. So that's not in Gurudeva's or Yogaswami's approach. To Gurudeva, jnana is simply advanced Raja Yoga. In other words, in Raja Yoga, the goal is to experience Parashiva, the self. When you do that, congratulations. Now you can move on to Jnana Yoga and experience it again and again and again and again. And in doing so, it changes your concept of who you are, and you become more and more identified with Parashiva and Parashakti. Parashakti has a long A in the middle, and Parashiva doesn't. Diksha, that's good, yes. So we found through our experience that outside of India, which is where we mainly deal with devotees, Diksha is best done no sooner than age 30. That may surprise you. In other words, traditionally it's done in your teens. You get a Diksha, take up Gayatri Mantra, Sandhya Vandana, Namah Shivaya, and you keep doing it the rest of your life. We found that in societies outside of India, it doesn't work. Individuals in those societies don't really know what they want to do in life, who they are, what they're going to do, including religiously, until they're about age 30. So therefore, to give them Diksha and have them drop it is not a good thing to do. It creates a negative vibration in their mind that you don't need to. So therefore, we're very conservative in that regard for countries outside of India. In India, your friends are doing it too. You know, it's all jati-based and everyone's doing similar practices that are your friends. And there's a lot of support group, but outside of India, you don't have that. Your friends aren't necessarily even Hindus. So we just suggest a 10-minute spiritual workout. That's enough. If someone can take that up, we call it good till age 30. But some practice should be taken up. As we said last week, we quoted our chaplain at Northwestern University, practice what you post. Really good, common, really good modern statement. So we get the 4 ashramas. So this looks good, except for sannyasa. So how many Hindus do you know over age 72 who are living the life of a hermit? What percentage of Hindus over age 72 are doing that? Most people would probably say zero, right? I don't know anyone who's doing it. It's not being done. So that one isn't really realistic. And as I say in my longer presentation on it, it still works in some places. In North India, for example, you have Haridwar, Rishikesh, where older men can go and actually live the life of a monk. And there's places to sleep, places to eat. They don't even need any money. Free medical clinics. Still works on a modest scale. It could get overrun if it got too many people, but it's still working there. But otherwise, it doesn't work. So therefore, what I suggest is whatever spiritual/religious practices you're doing, double them. If you're doing half an hour in Navanaprastha ashrama, make it an hour when you move to the sannyasa ashrama. If you're doing an hour, make it 2 hours. If you're going on pilgrimage once a year, go on pilgrimage twice a year if you can afford it. So you double your practice. That's what I think is realistic. Don't have to become a hermit. Purushartam. So this one is exactly the way we present it. No need to comment. Then you get Pancha Mahayajna. So we don't use this concept in Gurudeva's teachings. Instead, Gurudeva put forward his own Pancha Nitya Karmas, which is focused more on worship. So Dharma, Upasana, Utsava, Tirthyatra, and Samskaras are the 5 Pancha Nitya Karmas. But we expect everyone to do these things. We just don't use this concept to describe it. Interesting, the Pitru Yajna, Tarpana, and Shraddham for deceased ancestors. Ran across something from Yogaswami on that. He said that all prayers and offerings made to your ancestors will reach them and benefit them, and in turn, they will come and help you in your dreams. Interesting statement. I didn't know that one was there until recently. Samskaras, yes, nothing on the samskara page that's different. They're all standard practices. Again, Upanayanam, outside of India, we do not suggest getting a mantra that you're supposed to practice the rest of your life. Good description of marriage. Devotional practices. Well, I think what's good here, and definitely stressed in Gurudeva's teachings, and they're stressing it, they're putting it first. Devotional practices can be performed at home. So that, again, is something that's not necessarily stressed in modern Hinduism. If you go to the temple, that's enough. I go to the temple once a week. What else do I need to do? So you need to practice at home on a daily basis, and then it even has Orid holy sites there. You need to go on pilgrimage. As you're able, Gurudeva suggested once a year. Common symbols. Probably nothing there. Yes, so those are all good. The Samanya Dharmas, aka Yamas and Niyamas, they're using 5 of each. This is the original number and names of them given in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. And then over the centuries that followed, got up to 10 of each. So Gurudeva felt 10 was better than 5. So the more you have, the more precise they are. For example, Swadhyaya, study of Atman, actually includes a lot of focus on japa. So you wouldn't know that unless you studied, well, what is included in Swadhyaya? And then they're talking about yama is for social harmony, niyama is for self-development, and that's good. The way we state it is a little different. The yamas are ethical restraints that help an individual control his or her instinctive mind, which of course creates social harmony. We don't fight, we don't argue as much as if the instinctive mind wasn't controlled. And the niyamas are the religious observances that increase our devotion and closeness to the deities. So that's how we would explain niyama. Most of them are strictly religious. And then we get all religions. And Gurudeva's way of saying that is all religions are good. Everyone is fine in the religion in which they were raised unless an individual of his or her own volition wants to move to another religion based on understanding the differences in belief and practice. So that's called ethical conversion. You're not converting to get money, to get clothes, to marry someone. No, you're converting because you understand the differences in belief and practices between the two religions, and you want to follow those of the other religion. Ethical conversion. And one family means people or all religions and all ethnicities are all divine beings. So in Hinduism, we don't have any chosen people. One ethnicity, one religion is the divine one or the best one, and everybody else doesn't count or is secondary. It's not the Hindu viewpoint. Everybody, even criminals and terrorists, are divine beings. It's just well hidden. And that's it. Oh, thank you very much. Oh.